You're a wizard, Harry.
Hello everyone, good to have you back again. I am Hector Rivera and this is the Strings Learning Channel. Today I'm going to be explaining Harry Potter, the theme from the movie. I know that this is one of everybody's favorite. It is one of mine for sure. And I am going to be explaining all the difficult notes that are in this song. It does have some strange notes, so it's good for you to get used to them and to learn where they are. So I'm going to be showing you where they are on the violin, what fingers to play them with, and also some tips that might make it easier for you to handle the bow, cross strings, because it does have a couple of challenging strings crossings, and you're going to be able to handle these a lot better. First of all, this song is in the key of G minor, and there are some exceptions to that. It does have an A flat a few times that is not in the key of G minor, so I'm going to show you where that is. And if you are already familiar with your scales, if you're one of our more experienced players, then you're probably not going to have an issue with this. But A flat is not a very common note to find in basic violin playing level. So I'm going to explain that. And so it is true as well for D sharp. So I'm going to explain where those are as well. So let me start by just going over the score in order. One of the first challenging things that I find is that it has a rhythm that you don't often see in basic music. It's a dotted eighth followed by a 16th and a regular eighth note. So you can see it how I'm highlighting it with the green stripe on your score. And at this point, you only have it visually, but I can play it in this little piece of music software that is called Notion. If you're interested, I am using it on my iPad, and it's a very easy to use, very intuitive type of software. The name again is Notion. If you're interested, I will leave a link on the description. And let's hear the very first staff. You're going to see what I mean by having a kind of unusual rhythm. Because we are so familiar with this theme, you might not think that it's very unusual, because knowing something by memory already in your inner ear makes things so much easier to learn in music. So I'm going to play just a few measures for you to see what that rhythm sounds like. And here it comes again. Right? So it has a longer first note, a very short second note, and a regular, if you want to call it regular, eighth note at the end. So it's bum, ba bum, bum, ba bum, right? So the next strange thing that I find is, well, not that strange. F sharp is a very familiar note if you're starting violin. But A flat, let me show you where that's at on the violin. I usually play the A flat with a very close pinky. The pinky goes very close to the third finger. And if some of you might have stars, you know, I put these on so that it's easier for me to tell you where everything is. So it's always a good idea, as you know, to leave your fingers down whenever possible, so that you have a good idea for the placement for all the notes. So the A flat, here it goes. Here's your G note. So the A flat is immediately next to it. So you really have to scoot that pinky as close as you can to the third finger. So I'm letting this go because I want to make a point that how close it is to the third finger. That's your A flat. So that's one of the notes that I thought was a little unusual, that we don't find very often at first, in the very first year of playing the violin. So going on, we have an F natural, and some of you who play piano might be thinking, well, what's so hard about an F natural? Well, yeah, because it's one of the white keys in the piano, but on the violin, it's not one of the first notes that you learn. We learned this kind of F. This F is an F sharp, and I'm holding it right next to the yellow sticker. I have these really cute smiley stars, but yeah, it's right next to the first sticker. If you have just stripes, some of you have regular stripes, made out of some form of plastic tape or whatever, that's fine. It's the very first stripe. It's supposed to be on the same place anyway, so you should be able to find it. So this is an F sharp. This is the note F sharp. So in order to make it natural, you just have to press right in between the first stripe and the note of the violin. So you got this first finger right in the middle right there. That's an F sharp. So let's remember that. The next note, which I'm highlighting with this green stripe, is D sharp. D sharp, that's played with your third finger on the A string beyond the blue star. So this is a D natural on the blue sticker. So if you stretch it out a little further, that's a D sharp. So make sure that you leave pretty much the same space between the second and the third finger as you have with the first and the second. It's very similar, but the D sharp, that's what it is. So here's your A, B, C sharp, D sharp. So that's another one that's not so usual for beginning violin. So here's another one. I did have to write it in, even though it's not a very unusual note. It's a C sharp. We play C sharp all the time when you're in a beginning violin class. You just don't know it because we just call it C. We get to the theory details much later. My priority for you as a first semester violin player is for you to just get playing. We talk about the theory, sprinkle it in a little bit at a time. So here's a C sharp. In this key, you would normally have a C natural, so that's why the C sharp has to be emphasized, and you do have a sharp sign for that. So that's just your red tape, your red sticker, or if you just have regular stripes, it's your second stripe for your second finger. So no strange thing really there. There's another one. There's a C sharp that you don't find very often, and I am highlighting it with the green stripe. That's played on the G string with your stretched out third finger. This one might be hard to get to because you have to jump from this C sharp and cross over to the G string with the third finger, and then on top of that, your bow. Let's pretend that this pencil is the bow. You have to go from the A string to the G string pretty fast. So that might take some practice, So be patient. Practice is super slow. You'll get it. Let me see what else here. That's about it as far as strange notes that are not found in the first couple of years of playing the violin. So other than that, just be careful with the dotted rhythms. Make sure that you really play the 16th note super short and the dotted 8th note long enough. So I am going to play it a little bit just to show you. So I'm going to play the very first instance of that, which is on the second measure. So you have this dotted 8th G, then you have this B flat as a 16th note, then an A as a regular 8th note. So by itself it sounds like this. I'll do it again. Okay, it's not this. We all have the tendency to do that first, so no, it's not that. So this is long, this is very quick, and then regular 8th note. So again, right? Okay, so that's one. Here's another example. I'm gonna play the measure that has the F natural, E natural, D sharp, and B flat. That's a little weird. So it's measure number 7. Here it goes. So that's your F natural on the E string. E natural. Just open E. And then your stretched out third finger. And then B flat. So I slide my first finger really close to the note. So that's your B flat. So I'm going to play them together. Right? So these are the spots that you might need to practice extra. Okay? Here's the other one. This is the one that you have to cross over to you're skipping a string, and then you have to switch your bow a little more drastically. So this is the C sharp on the A string. Here's the lower C sharp, the lower octave on the G string. So, right? So here's the spot where it happens. You might need to practice that a lot. It's quite a bit of a change here. You know, it's a lot of angling. So, but you see what I do? I slow down the bow and I switch it without it moving. Otherwise, you get this. Right? Not very pleasant, right? So then, yeah. So slow down the bow a little bit if you can, if you're switching. That way you avoid hitting a string by accident and getting that weird squeal. You know. So okay. So the other passage that I wanted to go over, last but not least, but it's not as difficult. Measure number 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where you have the F sharp and the A flat going together. So here it is. You have F sharp on the red sticker, D string, and then you have A flat just past the blue sticker. So you have, here's F sharp, and then you have to do the A flat. So all these 3 fingers, it is normal for them to look this together. So, and that's this measure. So, and then open D. Okay, so those are the spots that you might have to practice a little extra. Other than that, just read through it slowly. If you need to practice 2 or 3 measures at a time, that's fine. Remember that this is all about repetition, because if you don't get it the first time, you might make a lot of mistakes the first time, and that's fine. The next time, you'll make less mistakes. The time after that, you make even less mistakes, you know, so it'll keep on getting better as you play it. So, okay, so now let's do a run through the whole song slowly, so you can watch at the same time where I'm playing the notes and how does it read on the score. Okay, here we go.